Welcome to another Healing the Child Within. Today's topic is so exciting. I am so excited to share this topic with you. And the topic for today is living 5D. And what does that mean? Well, living 5D, as 5D humans, we live from our heart's wisdom, from unity consciousness, and we understand unconditional love, and we live with limited creativity. Think about that for a minute. What would your life be like if you lived with unconditional love? That means no more judging, no more giving your power away. If this interests you, and I'm sure it must, otherwise you would not have been called to be watching this video, stay tuned. I'm going to take a moment here because this feels so wonderful to be sharing this topic. I am very, very excited to be sharing this topic with you. So living 5D, what does that mean? And how do you live and maintain 5D living when you're around others who are still living in 3D or don't understand 5D? And so they look at you like you've just grown a second head, or that your head is always in the clouds, or when you are not pulled into someone else's drama, you can be judged because people think you just don't care. Or, they might say, oh my gosh, didn't you just hear? I just told you X, Y, Z, and you're not freaking out and panicking like I am. What's wrong with you? And they think something's wrong with you. But really, you're maintaining your Zen, right? You're maintaining your path. You're maintaining the way. And when you reach that level of consciousness, because you have the understanding of this dimensional shift that is taking place, has taken place, and continues to expand, there's no reason to be pulled into drama. So the only reason that you can be pulled into someone else's drama is because you allow yourself to veer away from 5D and be pulled into 3D. Now, that's not to say that if you succumb to the 3D way of thinking or an experience that, oh my gosh, all the work you've done, it's for nothing, and now you need to just forget it and go back to the way things were. It doesn't work that way. Come on. When you expand, you've expanded to this level. It's like knowledge. When you gain knowledge, you don't forget that knowledge. There might be some knowledge that you just kind of put on a shelf and you forget that you have it. But once you have it, you can always draw on it. And the thing is, you have it. You can always draw on it. You simply want to give yourself the opportunity to remember that it's there, that you have this. You were born knowing this. We all come into this life as source energy. And source energy, think about, I get so excited about this. Think about source energy. It's limitless. It's everything. It encompasses everything. And in order to incarnate and take your human form, you must, I don't want to say shrink, but I'll use the word shrink your energy to be in this form. And when you do that, you tend to forget all of this knowing that you have. You're born with everything. You're born with all the knowledge that you need. But remember, this is why I love talking about healing your inner child, because it's between the ages of birth to about 8 to 12 years of age, depending on how you were raised, where you are creating your beliefs, your limiting beliefs, beliefs that serve you, beliefs that don't serve you. And even when you think they don't serve you, they do serve you in a way, because we want to experience contrast to know the contrast of contrast, right? You can't know up if you don't know down. You can't know dark if you don't know light, that type of thing. So if you're experiencing some type of struggle and you're frustrated and you're like, oh my gosh, when is this ever going to end? You have the ability, you have the knowledge, you have the capability, you have everything that you need when you allow yourself to go within. But here's where most people struggle because they've been taught that everything you want is outside of you, that you have to go get something in order to be happy, when actually it's the opposite, right? We talked last week about opposites. And so when you think about it, it's about opposites. Everything you manifest, everything you want to bring forth begins within. And it starts with a thought related to a feeling. And remember, a belief is a thought that you think over and over and over again. So whatever you believe to be true, whether it's a belief that is serving you to bring you your desires, or whether it's a belief that is limiting your desires, remember, it's about a thought that you think over and over and over again. And I always want to take the time to remind you that this is not to blame your parents or caregivers or those people that raised you, because they raised you the way someone raised them and whoever raised them. And, it's cyclical. It just goes back generation after generation after generation. So whatever people think is most important, like, ooh, you have to learn how to do this in order to have the best life possible. And so that's what they teach their children or those around them. And think about it, they can only teach us what they know. And if they are not trauma informed, if they are hurting or experiencing trauma that they have not healed from, chances are they're going to pass that trauma on to next generation. And it just keeps going generation after generation until we learn to break the cycle. And how do you break the cycle? Well, understanding that you have everything you need to break that cycle. And that's why this is so exciting. I love sharing these messages, because when you understand this, truly understand this, you will stop giving your power away. Now, how are you giving your power away? You're giving your power away every time you say, oh, I have to do everything that this person says to make this person happy, so this person doesn't get upset, or, whatever you're doing to give to someone else rather than give to yourself first. Whenever you're putting someone else's needs before the needs of your own, you're giving your power away. So when you understand this and you have begun to live in 5D, and you understand that there are those who are still in 3D, it's very, I was going to say important, and I don't know if that's the word that I want. Be conscious. I like this better. Be conscious of the fact that everyone is on their own path. Everyone is on their own journey. And it's not up to us to judge where someone else is on their journey. So if you see someone struggling and you say to yourself, oh my gosh, I really understand where they are, and I can help them. I can take them right out of that. But you see, that's not your responsibility. Your responsibility is you. Remember the story of the butterfly, where the little boy comes upon a butterfly in the woods and he sees it struggling to get out of the cocoon. So he decides to help it, and he chips away at the cocoon, and then pretty soon the butterfly just falls out dead on the ground. And the little boy's so upset, and he takes the butterfly and he goes to his grandfather and he says, "Grandfather, I don't understand. I was just trying to help. I was just trying to help him. He was struggling to get out." And the grandfather said, nature is very intentional. And by the struggle that the butterfly goes through, it strengthens its wings. It strengthens everything about itself, so that when it finally does burst from the cocoon, it has all the strength that it needs to fly away. And by you helping it along, you actually took the strength away from the butterfly. You see, this is what we do when we try to intervene in someone else's path. When we say, I think I know more than your higher self knows, and so I think you need to do X. Now, how does that show up? How do we do that? We do that when we have confrontation with people. We do that when we're trying to impress upon or enforce our opinion or our way of doing something over someone else's opinion or understanding. Remember, we're not in the convincing business, but there are many people living in 3D who are in the convincing business. That's what they believe, right? They believe that they have to convince you of their way of thinking or how to have an experience, the way they believe the experience needs to be experienced. And they're going to continue to push and push and push and press that point home to you until you finally get it. But when you're living in 5D, you know that you will never get it because you know there's nothing to get. So that can put us in a space of judgment or not allowing that person their path. And this is where you understand we're not in the convincing business. And remember, I told you it's like that technique in karate where you have two equal forces opposing each other. They're both the exact same force and they're pushing and pushing and pushing. Neither is going to win. Neither is going to win over the other. But all one has to do is step off and allow this person to just go flying that way with their own force. Because when you take away the force, that person will go the other way with their own force. But you're no longer there. So you're no longer there like pushing back because you know there's no reason for it. There's no reason for you to be putting that energy, that focus, that attention into that struggle with another person. And that works the same way with an experience. So when you are living in 5D, you are living from conscious creativity. You understand that you are part of the collective. You understand that the energy you're putting forth affects everything and everyone. Now, what does that mean? Well, it means that you have the ability, as you are maintaining your body temple, I guess that would be the best way to say it. If you think of your body as this temple that you have, remember, this is what we talk about when we say, this is your house. Your house is your body. Now, how are you taking care of your house? Are you making sure that your house has everything that it needs? That you are reverent to your house? Or are you allowing others or experiences to take away from your house? Now, how do you allow others to take away from that? Well, you know, when you know what's best for you and you follow your intuition, you follow that inner voice within you, which is your source energy. It's the you that was you before you were you and is still part of you, your soul, whatever name you use for it, source energy. When you are allowing source energy to guide you, to keep you on the path, to help you follow the way. And the way is different for everyone because everyone comes into this life with different karmic contracts. So as you fulfill your karmic contracts, as you heal your inner child, and healing your inner child is about recognizing those beliefs that you created in childhood that no longer serve you, that you've brought with you into adulthood, and you're continuing to allow them to impede the best you that you can be. Because it's difficult for us to believe that we are amazing. It's difficult for us to believe that we are so creative that if we could even tap into an ounce of it knowingly, we would be like, wow, I didn't know I could do this. But the thing is, we are that creative and we are part of the collective. Remember, what you do to you, you do to others. So as you are honoring you, you are also honoring others. But when you dishonor you or your body temple, your body house, when you dishonor that for whatever reason, no judgment. Remember, there's no right or wrong. There's no good or bad. There simply is. But when you find that yourself in that space, and it could be where maybe you're having an argument with someone because you see something one way and they see it a different way, and you're both trying to get each other to see each other's point. Again, right? You put yourself back into that convincing mindset when you can just walk away. But walking away doesn't mean like, our body language speaks volumes. So if you are one to roll your eyes or hold on to negative energy, remember, people feel you. We all have that energetic force, our energy, our own specific energy that emanates from our body, about 13 feet in all directions from our body. And when you are in close proximity with someone and you're having an argument with them or a confrontation of some kind, you can feel that. And as children, we are tapped in to our intuitive abilities way more than most adults are. And so we infer quite a bit as children. We infer, oh, if I do or say this, my parents get upset. So I won't do or say this, even though it's simply something that you want to know more of or you want to explore, but perhaps your parents aren't ready to explore that with you, or they think there's no reason to explore. It's interesting, when my mother started paying attention to the work that I do, one day she said to me, and she says it very often now, she's like, Nancy, I never knew you were so intelligent. I never knew you had all of this in you. When you were little, you used to say things that used to scare the hell out of me, and I didn't know what to do with you. I didn't know where this stuff came from. And I tried beating it out of you. I tried screaming it out of you. And when that didn't work, I just ignored you. Now think about my inner child. Think about my child self who experienced this. When a child is screamed at or physically abused or ignored, the child will infer that they're doing something wrong. Do you see how we can take these inferences and we can hold on to them and create a belief because they have a strong emotional attachment to that? And you think, oh, when I do this, I get punished. It doesn't feel good when I get punished. But if I do this, I get punished, don't get punished, or get punished less. And so we opt for this, but it goes against what our source self is encouraging us to experience. So we're conflicted, as children, we have this knowing because we come into this world with this knowing, but it's the adults in our life that slowly chip away at that knowing. Now, why do they do that? Because remember, when you come into this world, you have experiences that you choose to experience in order to expand your spiritual self, especially depending on what generation you are. We know we came into this world specifically to be here in this time, in this space, in this moment. And we are here to add to the collective. And as we expand in this dimensional shift, as we allow ourselves to be the best us that we can possibly be, it will mean letting go of maybe people, memories, experiences, beliefs that you're holding on to so tightly and that are keeping you from living in that happiness, that joy, that abundance, that prosperity. Because remember, as your child self, you know that you have all of this. And as you allow what you are inferring to take away from that or close it off, this is where you start to create lack mentality. This is where you start to create lack feelings. And then your adult self has brought that with you. And you wonder, like, why am I experiencing lack? It could be a lack of health. It could be a lack of financial stability. It could be a lack of spiritual belief or spiritual happiness, abundance. It could be a lack of belief in yourself. It could be a lack, any kind of lack, anything that you believe you cannot do. You are holding on to that and you are sharing it from a place of something that you created as your child self. So your inner child, that little boy or girl inside of you that's still holding on to that belief and whispering in your adult ear, ooh, we can't do this. We don't have the ability to do that. We're not creative, but you are. You're limitless. You know, everything is possible. And when you start living from this 5D understanding, this 5D life that you came here to live, you realize that everything is energy. And because everything is energy, we create from our thoughts. Yes? Yes. So what you're thinking, you're putting out into the universe. And as you're putting that out there, you have emotions, feelings attached to that, which creates a vibration. And whatever you're vibrating, whatever you're feeling, whatever you're putting out to the universe is sending back to you. This is the way the law of attraction works. Remember, law of attraction is universal law, just like gravity is universal law. You don't wake up one day and say, I think I'm just going to float around today. I think I'm not going to do gravity today. It doesn't work. Same way you cannot not do law of attraction. Law of attraction is working continuously 24/7, whether you're aware of it or not, whether you are attracting consciously or unconsciously. But when you are living in your 5D understanding, you know that you are creating from thought. You are creating from energy. So what you think about, you bring about. But most people are taught to think about what they don't want. I don't want to be poor. I don't want to be unhealthy. I don't want to struggle. I don't want to have a job I don't like. We think about all of these things that we don't want. Remember, this is where the want, don't want list comes in so, it's so powerful. It comes in so powerfully when you learn how this works. Understand what you want. Make a list. What do you want? And what are you telling yourself? What belief have you brought with you from childhood that you're still carrying around with you that is keeping you from having it? And then are you able to move to the space of wanting to just knowing it's there? Because it is. It's simply, it's there. All you have to do is allow it. Allow it to come forth. Allow. Be in the space of non-resistance. Be in a place of acceptance. And when you are allowing it, and you say, okay, I can't see it, feel it, taste it, touch it right now, but I know it's there. I know it's there. I know it's there. And think about it and think about how wonderful it feels to have that thing that you desire most. Because see, then you go from wanting to feeling your desire. And when you feel your desire, you know it can happen instantaneously. We are the only impediment in receiving what we want. And when you're living in 5D, you know that you are creating everything. You are creating the people, the experiences, the places. You are creating them based on the energy that you're putting forth. So what are you creating that you don't want? If this is something that you want to know more about, I encourage you to visit my website at masteringyourbeliefs.com. Spend some time on the website. There's free downloads. There's an e-course. You can have a Sensei session with me. Stop struggling. Understand that the answers are available to you. The only reason that you are still struggling or haven't found the answer is because you're not accepting when something comes into your awareness. Remember, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And the teacher comes to us in so many ways. It could be a billboard you see when you're driving on the freeway, a song, a melody, an offhanded conversation, which is not really offhanded, right? Because you know everything comes into your awareness exactly when you need it. Just like I mentioned at the beginning of this message, at the beginning of this show, when I said, if this video has come into your awareness, it's because you have attracted it. There's something within this message that you are longing to hear or learn. It's simply a matter of, are you going to open your mind, open your heart, open your energetic way of being, thinking, and feeling, and allowing it to wash over you, allowing it to remind you, because remember, you already have this knowledge, remind you of the wonderful, absolutely fabulous person, human being that you are. We are all spiritual beings having a human experience in this lifetime. And we came here to have these experiences so that we can raise the collective, so that we can be part of this conscious collective that expands all of us spiritually and keeps us in that space of 5D, living, thinking, feeling, breathing. How do you want to experience your life? If living 5D sounds too out of the box for you, or too woo-woo, or too unbelievable, maybe, Nancy, whatever you're saying, that's a bunch of hooey. It can't be true. Well, I would ask you, why do you believe it can't be true? Simply just ask yourself that question and follow the answers, because you may have a conversation in your head that goes something like, whatever Nancy's saying, that's so woo-woo, that's out there, she's crazy, and then ask yourself, well, why do I believe that? Well, because I've been taught that that's not true. Okay, but who taught me that? Well, X, Y, and Z taught me that. Okay, and who taught them? You see, you can keep taking this conversation backwards and backwards and backwards until you can get to the root of why you're holding on to this belief so tightly. And remember, there are always 3 questions you can ask yourself. What feeling or belief can I let go of right now? What feeling or belief will I let go of right now? And what feeling or belief do I need to hold on to for just a little bit longer? Because thinking anything other than what I think right now, believing anything other than what I believe right now, feels too scary, too fearful, too out there, too hard to believe. And if that's where you are, remember, there's no right or wrong. There's no good or bad. There just is. And whatever space you're in at this moment, honor yourself for wherever you are in one of these 3 places. Because when you honor yourself, when you truly learn to look yourself in the mirror and say, how am I feeling right now? On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, where am I right now? And if you're at a 2 or a 3, why? Just why? Ask yourself, why am I feeling this? What am I feeling? Most of us weren't taught to truly pay attention to our feelings. Most of us weren't taught that our feelings are driving the bus of our life. Remember, wherever you're going in this life, your feelings are driving you there. Knowing that allows you to choose consciously rather than subconsciously and live a fabulous life, a fabulous 5D life. If you have any questions, remember, connect with me at masteringyourbeliefs.com. In the meantime, this is Nancy Muller, the one and only Life Sensei, saying ciao for now.